Alright, it's your boy Carter J. I got Jupiter Rock on the line. What's up, bro?
What's going on, Jay?
What you thought about Chael Sonnen and Jon Jones, the post-fight?
Well, I do recall saying in the original, fight analysis that we did that there was no reason to believe that Jon Jones would lose this fight against Chael Sonnen.
Right.
I have to admit that, and I think, whether people want to admit it or not, I mean, some people were like, I knew Jon Jones would whoop his ass and this, and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, I think we all knew that Jon probably, obviously was the favorite.
He was favored, yeah.
But I don't think anyone could have imagined it happening the way that it happened. I mean, Jon overpowered Chael.
Right.
Somehow. I don't know if it was because Jon is just taller and probably just as strong as Chael. Because one thing Jon did was, when he had Chael pressed against the cage, he leaned his upper body, like his weight of his upper body, all like on Chael. Period.
Right.
He would lean on him and put all his body weight on him, and that pretty much kept Chael against the cage. He couldn't. To Chael's, I guess to his credit, he did get up from two of the takedowns that Jon got. The first takedown Jon got on Chael, he didn't keep him down very long. Actually, Chael kind of scrambled back up to his feet, and then he started doing those like quick uppercuts. At that point in the fight, I thought, okay, this fight's going to get real interesting. I was like, Chael's strong enough to like get up from him. If he can't keep Chael down, then Chael's got some competition for him. But Jon goes immediately back into the clinch, and then he pretty much just suppressed anything Chael could do from like a standing position.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect the fight to end so fast like that, but let me ask you this, because do you think the outcome of the fight was worth the long-awaited wait? I mean, Jon Jones fought Vitor Belfort back in September. So for the fight to end the way how it did and as fast as it did, do you think it was like really worth the build-up and the hype of the fight?
Well, man, I think you got to blame the referee for that.
Right.
Because the referee did stop it early. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, listen, there was 23-something seconds left in the fight. Jon Jones said himself that, I think it was a little on the early side. The ref could have given Chael a little more time, because Jon acknowledged that, Chael was defending. He was blocking those. Because, let me tell you something. Had Chael not been defending, dude, he would have been knocked out already. Okay? He would have been knocked out already. Yeah. That's the only reason he was conscious, was because he was defending.
Right.
But I'm not defending anything. I'm not making excuses. I'm just being honest and factual about it. Because one thing about a lot of MMA fans, whether they want to admit it or not, are partial about whatever. I mean, I like this person, I don't like this person. It kind of goes back to the whole, like, I think a lot of MMA people were wrestling fans before.
Right.
And, if you choose who you like or dislike in wrestling, you do know it's all a script. But MMA is real, right?
Right.
If you're going to be somebody that is going to make online videos and give analysis and opinions about it, to me at least, be honest about it. Try not to have such a bias, because a lot of these guys that make these videos, they just come across as ignorant. They just go right off the bat laughing and saying all kinds of ridiculous crap especially about Chael, because I noticed that a lot of guys don't like Chael out there.
Mm-hmm.
Certain guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you catch my drift.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And they just wanted him to get his butt whooped because personally they don't like him. When I judge an MMA fight, when I really analyze it, I'm being like, it's all about the fight. It's not about the person. It's not about the reputation or the drama. It's about the total physicality. His fighting ability versus that guy's fighting ability, and what really happened in the cage, and that's it.
Right. I feel that. It seemed like to me, man, I mean, Chael came in there. This is just my personal opinion. I felt like he wasn't really focused. You get where I'm coming from?
I mean, yeah. Well, it's like I said. I mean, you might be right, you know. But I do know that the first thing that happened was that he ran. I mean, the first thing he did, he ran. He came right at Jon. He said he went for that low kick, and Jon went instantly for the clinch. Right after that, he just clinched up with him. I don't think he was not focused, man. I just think he was caught off guard. I think he was overwhelmed by Jon's strength.
Right.
And also getting put on his ass.
Yeah.
Did a mind job on him because he's never been taken down like that.
That's true.
And Jon just kind of grabbed him like like putting a kid to sleep, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just picked him up and dropped him.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about in our previous video. I was saying, well, I don't mind if Chael loses. I just don't want him to fight, a stupid fight. And I honestly don't think that he fought like a real dumb fight. I mean, you can clearly see that. I think that Jones's like power, he had youth, size, power, and reach. I think all that, crumpled up into one big ball, just kind of overwhelmed Chael, man.
That's why he's the champion.
Yeah. Who do you think he's going to face next now? You know anything about that?
Look, this is the reality of the situation as it is now. I mean, Jon has to recover from his injury, the toe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's out for a minute, and then Anderson has publicly, well, it's been publicly stated by Dana White, I should say, that he was contacted by Anderson Silva and insinuated that Anderson asked to fight Jon.
Right.
But Anderson has to fight Chris Weidman in July, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And which I believe that he'll beat Chris Weidman's ass. Chris Weidman is the guy, he's talking real greasy. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's almost as bad as Chael, just in a different way. Like, he's just acting like he's that confident, and that's all he says. I'm that confident. I'm a nightmare matchup for Anderson. I saw what Chael did to him. And you know what's funny is that, not to get too far off subject, but this is wrestling. I mean, relative. It's all MMA. And, going forward, whatever. It's the fact that, like, in the blogosphere, I hear, a lot of people saying that, well, it's the Bleacher Report. Are you familiar with that?
I heard of it.
The Bleacher Report is this, like, I guess it's a website or some online publication, and you can write a Bleacher Report about anything. And just think of the name itself, the Bleacher Report. You're somebody reporting from the bleachers, meaning you're not really in the game.
Yeah.
And it's just an opinion that some, like, jumpstart writer wants to put out there. But, like, for every fight, see, let me tell you something, and this is an honest fact. For the last 6 or more Anderson Silva fights, every time the Spider fights, there's, like, Bleacher Report after Bleacher Report about why the guy he's fighting is gonna beat him.
Who do you mean when who beat who?
Anderson when he fought Naya. Anderson when he was getting ready to fight Chael Sonnen. These guys on the internet for some reason write an article that gets chosen by that website, I believe, to be published, talking about why every opponent Anderson has is gonna beat him. And Anderson always wins. Right,
yeah.
And so there's Bleacher Reports now talking about, like, why. And they're so definitive about it. And that's what I don't respect. I'm like, look, it's one thing to speculate and analyze and give your own, opinion, but when you make definite headlines, like, that's kind of bold, to be like, this is why Chris Weidman is going to beat Anderson. Come on.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on. You know, and there's a million of those already right now before that fight. They're all saying, and I hate to say it, I mean, a lot of people might get mad, but whatever. I'm not politically correct. I think it's a bunch of white guys who just want to see Anderson get his ass kicked.
Right.
Who are going for Chris Weidman.
Right.
And that's not, you know, I'm just being real about it. I mean, the white boys always rally against Anderson for some reason, especially when he was fighting Chael Sonnen. And I like Chael Sonnen. Like, I don't care. You know, I'm not partial to any, you know, ethnicity or whatever. I just, you know, I like the MMA game and the fighters and that's it.
Right.
And I would laugh watching, you know, the back and forth, you know, the racism flying left and right. the people that were going for Chael, which were all the white guys hurling, you know, their stuff. And then, you know, all the other ethnic groups, because it wasn't just blacks, it was Spanish. Everybody else seemed to be for Anderson.
Right.
And even some, you know, I'm not saying that there weren't any white guys that were for Anderson. A lot of people love Anderson Silva. It's just that there was a certain demographic of white guys that were.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Chael didn't have, he said even at the post-fight interview, he didn't have no problem with the referee stopping the fight, this and that. And I guess he just, you know, he totally admitted that, you know, Jones is the better man. But,
yeah.
I mean...
He also said that, you know, fighters like Anderson Silva and Jon Jones don't ever call each other out. And then Dana, you know, pretty much said, actually, Anderson did call me tonight. So he, you know, the insinuation was that Anderson did ask, I want to fight Jon Jones, especially after what he saw what he did to Chael Sonnen. I mean, you know, Anderson wants to be the best. He, you know, he has a legacy, and if you don't think that he thinks he's the master, which he basically is a master regardless.
Right.
And Jon Jones is like a fighter, a prodigy, in a sense also with his physical gifts, because he's blessed that way. I mean, he's a tall guy, he's got long arms, long legs.
And he's not, you can't really consider him hyped because he's beat a lot of big names in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's legit, dude. He's a legitimate, he is what he is. I mean, he's, like I said, he's probably second in the pound for pound ranking.
Yeah, I mean, he had Rampage like quivering after he choked him out. I mean, who has necessarily like really, you know, done that? Probably nobody.
Rampage gave up in that fight too.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I was like, you bitch. You know, I hate to say that, but because I know he'll destroy me. But you know, so I mean, Rampage Jackson is a guy that seems like he would, you know, die fighting.
Right.
You're just gonna roll over and let John choke you out.
I mean,
this is what he did.
Yeah, I mean, the way how he had him though, it was kind of like he really had nowhere else to go because he was like leg kicking him, man, and that was like really wearing him down.
Because, like I said, I mean, Jon Jones is a legitimate mixed martial artist. He's not just some tall guy that just lands kicks and some punches here and there. You know, he's got the technique and everything down. Right. That's why he's dangerous.
Yeah. Do you think Chael Sonnen, he didn't really say anything about retiring? Do you think he's going to keep going, or do you think he's done?
Oh, dude, it's already official. He's not going anywhere. He's already called out Vanderlei Silva because they got beat in the past.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll probably watch that fight too because I actually remember the drama between him and Vanderlei. There's actually a funny video in particular of Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei like in a limo at some UFC function, and Vanderlei Silva's in the back seat, and he's talking to Chael, and he's telling Chael how it's, you know, basically it's not cool all the you know, stuff you've been saying about Brazil, and he was basically insinuating to Chael, you know, if we were back in Brazil, man, you'd probably get killed.
Yeah, that's true.
And Chael was just kind of like, you know, in his own sarcastic way, like, hey, yeah, you know, thanks for letting me know that. Mm-hmm. Whatever. You know, that's a funny ass video. And so I'm sure that, you know what, it already sets the stage for like the next chapter in Chael, because whether people admit it or not, no one can say I'm not gonna watch another Chael fight. He's a bum. I've actually heard that he's a bum. I mean, he's not no damn bum. You're not a bum and he earned that middleweight fight with Anderson.
Right.
He earned it twice. He earned it the first time after the Maya fight. He beat Maya, so he earned that fight. No one can say anything, because people say all kinds of crap that they can't prove. People say, oh, he was on steroids. You know, damn steroids. That's an insult to the sport to say that they can't find. Look what happened to Alistair. If you're on roids, they're gonna know.
Right.
They're gonna know. They don't play. They don't want that in the sport, and believe me, that's not the case. He earned the first fight, and then what happened? He won 2 more fights.
He beat Brock Lesnar's ass.
No, we're talking about Chael Sonnen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Alistair.
No. Alistair's whatever. Alistair's hype to me. He's just that's a big roid head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a guy that got caught on. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Right.
I think Rampage has done roids.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that. But
there's a lot of fighters in UFC that look like they might have done roids. It's just like I say, it's a matter of will you test clean come fight time.
Yeah, I was kind of did you know Rampage retired?
Did he?
Yeah, he retired.
Officially, he's done.
Yeah, he's done. I can't remember if he fought after the Jones fight. Can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he did. He fought that guy Tex Guevara.
And he lost, right?
He did.
Yeah.
But he put up a good fight. I mean, Rampage ain't a bum. It's just that the level of fighters that are now in the UFC are just a higher skill set than him.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They know how to keep a dangerous guy like him away.
Yeah. That's true. But moving forward, man, so what do you think overall of the fight? Was it worth the hype? Was it worth the wait? Did it meet your expectations? What did you overall think of that main event?
I mean, look, to be honest, I don't think it didn't meet the expectations. I expected a 5-round grind war. I really, I mean, I can't really say that I'm disappointed, because I believe whatever happens in the octagon is what's meant to happen.
Right.
Would it have been nice if it was a more competitive fight? Sure.
Yeah.
But what happened. I mean, it's the UFC. I mean, somebody can get knocked out in 5 seconds with a kick or punch.
Exactly.
So, that's the sport, and hey, you had an entire round. It was only 20-something seconds left in the fight, so like I said, I think the general opinion about the fight was that most people say that it's not a surprise what happened. They kind of expected something like that.
Right. But all right, true that. So moving forward to UFC 160, what do you think of the main event in that fight? Who do you think will win that?
I can't really say who's going to win that. It's going to be, that's another really good card too. The 2 main events that they have. Cain Velasquez, he beat Tim Silva, I believe, a little over a year ago or something like that. He fought him. Or maybe longer. I'm not sure exactly on that timetable. I know they fought before.
Right.
I think in Strikeforce.
Oh, okay.
And Cain beat his ass. But as you see, Tim Silva's been on a tear. I mean, he's obviously improved to where he's beating up people that probably would have beat him up a few years ago.
Right.
I always thought Bigfoot Silva was just one of these like big tall tomato cans.
Oh, Silva's no joke, man.
Yeah, he isn't. I mean, look what he did to Overeem.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad he did that to Overeem, because Overeem is an arrogant, just void head.
Yeah.
I mean, he can fight, but he's cheating.
Right. Yeah, I don't like that cheating shit, man.
And it's obvious. He was just so. I mean, if you follow MMA for real, and Alistair's not new to the sport. He's been around for a long time, especially back in, like I said, before Strikeforce and all that stuff like that. he competed, and he was a skinnier. He was never like skinny. He was always like in shape, but he was a thin guy. You know, who did kickboxing and all that. He was a good fighter. It's just he beat a lot of people up. He won a lot of fights naturally from his fighting ability. But what happened to him is that I think he lost to Shogun Rua and some other people. He got beat by higher skilled fighters, and then what he did is he just decided he was just going to get bigger and stronger. And the allegation has been around him his whole career, and he's even like kind of embarrassed himself because there's videos of Alistair from back in the day talking about that it was a joke, that people were like insinuating that he was on roids and that they're just jealous, and talking about how his girlfriend, knows about all that stuff and just crap. But anyway, after all those years, he got caught, and that's all that happened.
Yeah, some crazy shit. But yeah, I think we'll end that right here, man. And we're gonna bring you guys some more shit down the road. But it's your boy Carter J and Jupiter Rock 1. We're out.
Peace.